It's hard to believe, but Skyrim just recently turned 11 years old. Despite its age, the game is still going strong. Of course, it's the continuous effort of modders we have to thank for this. As with my other videos in the must-have modding series, my goal is to introduce you to mods that I believe have the potential to have a permanent place in nearly anyone's load order. Mods that make clear objective improvements to either the overall functionality, atmosphere, and/or role-playing elements of the game. I think it's important to emphasize that we all envision different outcomes in what we'd like to achieve through modding, and may have differing ideas on what we consider must-haves. So I urge you to comment down below what mods meet this criteria for you. As for the mods we're going to be taking a look at today, they are all relatively new and consist of a few mods that enhance stealth through the introduction of several new mechanics, as well as a handful of revolutionary animation mods, and lastly a UI mod. But before we jump into the mods, first a quick word from this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a tactical turn-based MMO battle game where you can create a team of champions to take on raids, challenges, and be real players in the arena. Raid is completely free to play and has something for just about everyone. Whether you want to explore the lore within the game or compete in high-stakes PvP, you can do just that. But personally, I love the challenge of taking on powerful bosses that require you to experiment with different strategies and team compositions. And when it comes to assembling an ideal team, the possibilities are endless with over 600 unique champions to choose from, not to mention all the ways in which you can customize their builds by equipping artifacts and choosing their masteries. Raid has a lot going on this month with the release of Sand Devil's Necropolis, a brand new dungeon, as well as the release of a new legendary champion based off the MMA and pro wrestling legend Ronda Rousey. You can get Ronda for free. All you have to do is log in and play for 7 days between now and February 20th. To celebrate her release, you can use the special promo code on screen to receive a few extra goodies. Also, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get exclusive rewards in Raid right now. So if you're new to Raid, now is a great time to get started, and if you click on the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, you will receive $30 worth of bonuses, including the epic champion Tyrell, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard so you could summon that awesome new champion as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here, available for the next 30 days for new players only. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video. The first mod we're looking at today is Book of Shadows, a behavior-based stealth mod that introduces several new stealth mechanics to the game. The mod adds custom, fully animated masks. The masks themselves are craftable and come in 4 separate color variations. But more importantly, they act as a means of identity concealment. In doing so, it makes a pretty significant change to the bounty system. You will now have a bounty exclusively tied to the mask as well as your regular bounty. Therefore, crimes committed while wearing a mask will contribute exclusively to your mask bounty, provided no one discovers you putting on or removing that mask. In this circumstance, the 2 bounties will merge together. It's quite similar to the mask system that exists in Red Dead Redemption 2. When equipping and unequipping them, there is a sleek indicator icon that pops above the player's head. Book of Shadows also adds stealth takedowns. The way these work is if your right hand is free and you're directly facing an enemy's back, you can now choke them out. This will incapacitate them for a set amount of time that can be configured within the MCM. An hourglass icon will appear above the knocked out NPC's head to indicate how much longer they will remain unconscious. These takedowns are a welcome addition to stealth that adds another layer of approach to any given situation. For instance, let's say you would like to pick someone's pockets but don't want to run the risk of being caught. You can opt to first incapacitate them and then run their pockets. It's also useful for those of you that would sometimes like to take a less aggressive approach to a situation and knock someone out rather than outright killing them. With this mod, certain NPCs have been assigned as sentries. These NPCs can be seen carrying war horns and are tasked with alerting nearby allies if the need arises. If you're seen by a hostile sentry, their immediate response will be to blow their horn and signal all nearby allies that they are under attack. If you're dealing with a large, spread out group of enemies, there may even be 2 sentries among them, and one sentry blowing their horn may signal another to do the same, attracting a slew of enemies to bear down on your current location. If your goal is to dispatch a group of enemies without being seen, it is now imperative to target the sentries first. Killing, staggering, or choking sentries will prevent them from sounding the alarm, but so will pickpocketing the war horn from their person. Sentries in the process of sounding the alarm can be interrupted. The style and appearance of these war horns depends on their affiliated faction. I find this to be a welcome addition to stealth gameplay because it makes you put more thought into how you approach certain stealth situations, and it adds another layer of difficulty to the process. Another feature added by Book of Shadows is smoke bombs. These can be used as a means to escape enemies. Enemies caught within the cloud of smoke will be disorientated, slowing down their movements and causing them to cough uncontrollably. It's useful in pulling off an escape when overwhelmed, or serving as a distraction that allows you to disrupt a group of enemies and take them out individually. Carrying smoke bombs in your inventory will display them on your character's waist. There are several colors of dye for the smoke clouds, all of which can be crafted. The Book of Shadows is a lightweight mod that doesn't make changes to any pre-existing stealth mechanics. It only adds new ones. Therefore, it's highly compatible with any other stealth mods you may be using, so it should be easy to integrate into your current mod setup. To even further enhance stealth gameplay, we have the mod Take a Peek. A simple but impactful mod that gives access to a new power that can be activated in front of a door, causing you to enter an animation and peek over to the other side using the door's keyhole. So now you can recon the area on the other side of doors before entering. This is especially useful if you're playing a thief and would like to enter at an opportune moment to reduce your chances of getting caught. This works on virtually any door in the game, at least the ones that make sense, that is. This includes the locked doors as well. While peeping isn't technically illegal, if you're caught doing so, NPCs will sometimes react to you in a confrontational but humorous way.
What are you doing that for? Don't do that!
By default, the range in which you can move the camera when peeking is on a realistic level that makes sense if you were actually peering through something as narrow as a keyhole. If this level of realism isn't important to you, you can opt to unlock the camera and peer everywhere around the radius of the door. The next mod we're looking at is animated interactions and idols. This mod adds a variety of new interactive and random idols. If you're unfamiliar with idle animations, these are basically random animations that will trigger when you stand still for a defined amount of time. This mod adds both conditional and non-conditional idols. Conditional idols are contingent on the player's status. An example being when the player has contracted a disease, there is a chance for a coughing idol to trigger, or when the character has low health, they will apply pressure to their stomach as if to slow their bleeding from an open wound. The non-conditional idols don't need to meet any requirements to trigger, and can occur whenever the player is standing still. This mod adds a wide range of unique idols that span anywhere from twirling a sword, to balancing a dagger on your fingertip, to simply adjusting your gauntlets. Other animations within the mod are triggered when you input a specific action, such as your character physically opening up a book when you yourself do so through the menu. There's different idols that exist for opening your map, inventory, journal, and magic menus. There's also a sleek animation that exists when using the barter menu with a merchant. When you make a purchase, an animation plays that shows the player handing over coins to them from your pocket or coin pouch. However, it should be noted that in order for idle interactions that occur within menus to function properly, you need the mod Skyrim Souls, which essentially unpauses the game when in certain menus so you can see the idols that would otherwise be paused. Moving on to the last, but arguably best feature of animated interactions is the 67 new dialogue idols that have been added. These occur when speaking with an NPC and vary based on your relationship with them. Your relationship to an NPC is categorized in 4 different mood states, each with unique idols and dialogue answering animations. Seeing as body language plays a pivotal role in communication, it's very cool to see an attempt at emulating this in-game, and doing so dynamically based on your character's relationship to an NPC. It makes sense that you would inhibit a more closed-off or guarded posture towards someone that is your enemy, versus a relaxed and open posture with that of a friend or lover. You may have noticed that these changes only affect the player and not NPCs, and this goes for all the animations added by this mod. Fortunately, the mod Gesture Animation Remix can breathe some life into NPCs when in a dialogue with them, and it greatly complements animated interactions and idols. Essentially, what this mod does is it adds over 40 dialogue gesture animations to NPCs on the basis of their personality, role in society, and armor type. It works with all NPCs and followers, even those added by other mods. This also works when NPCs are communicating with each other, and it feels strangely satisfying to stumble across NPCs having a conversation in such an animated way. So if you're sick of seeing NPCs going through the same repetitive motions during dialogue, and want to breathe some life into them, then this mod is for you. This next mod is one that in concept I've wanted to see for a very long time, and I think many of you will appreciate it, especially those of you that value immersion and would like to introduce a new role-playing element to the game. The mod I'm referring to is Read the Room. What this mod does is introduce equip and unequip animations for helmets that occur depending on the player's location. It never made sense to wear helmets in certain settings such as within your personal home, a city, or at an inn. This mod tracks the player's current location and determines whether the area can be classified as safe or hostile. Safe areas are cities, towns, and other dwellings, while hostile areas include bandit camps, Nordic ruins, and other places alike. When you enter a safe area such as an inn, your character will automatically remove their helmet and place it on their hip. The opposite can be said for hostile areas. When you enter combat or an area that's dangerous, your character will equip their helmet accordingly. If you would rather manage equipping the helmet yourself, you could simply disable the automatic equip feature and toggle the helmet equip with your desired hotkey. The mod works with any modded armor, and the position of the helmet on your hip could easily be adjusted. Read the Room currently only works for the player, but the author has expressed interest in getting this to work for NPCs as well, specifically for followers, so keep an eye out for that. The next mod, Compass Navigation Overhaul, makes some major improvements to the overall functionality of the game's compass. It does so by making a few significant quality of life changes and additions to the compass in both a clean and minimalistic way. The compass now displays some useful information when facing the direction of markers. This includes the name of the marker as well as its distance. If your destination is at a lower or higher elevation than you're currently standing, a small arrow indicator will let you know, so you can adequately adjust your approach in reaching that destination. It also fixes one of Skyrim's compass's biggest shortfalls, which is the also common circumstance when you're tracking several quests and it becomes impossible to differentiate which quest you're facing by just looking at the compass alone. Instead of having to open your map to narrow down the direction you need to travel in for a specific quest, the compass now displays your choice of either the objective or the name of the location or character they point to when facing a quest marker. What this mod accomplishes by integrating more information in the compass is it minimizes the time spent in your quest journal and map. Ultimately, the less time you spend navigating through menus, the more time you could spend immersed in the game. If you value organic exploration, you could choose to hide all unvisited locations from the compass, or alternatively replace those markers with question marks that have no additional information tied to them. This compass overhaul is highly compatible with other mods, and it's instantly become a mod I can't see myself playing without. If you end up downloading any of the mods I've covered today, be sure to endorse the mod authors for their hard work, because none of this would be possible without them. I'd also like to take a moment to thank you guys for 10,000 subscribers and tell you how much I appreciate all the positive comments and support you've shown recently. With that said, if you're new to the channel and enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching.